Now, these days, I guess when you meet fans, is it a constant source of amazement that you see their eyes drop when they realise that you're a real person?
They are often disappointed, and I can't blame them. Same thing happens to me when I shave in the morning. I'm like, this can't be right. But worse than how I look, which, you know, is pretty bad, is who I am, I think, is the biggest disappointment. Because, you know, data is, who can be data? Data is pure. Data is a non-judgmental, totally accessible creature. Who wouldn't want that as opposed to cynical, sarcastic, looking for a laugh, you know? It is a disappointment, you know? But you know what they say, there are a lot of people like Henry Fonda, for example, and he would say this, was not a particularly nice guy. And he always played these men of great, you know, stature. And Spencer Tracy was not a nice guy. We were talking about some of the actors we know, and there are some guys who play the voice of reason that I know, who are insane, completely insane. All they speak are non sequiturs unless they have dialogue. And so, you know, that's show business. That's my answer to the fans. Hey, that's show business. Star Trek fans are Star Trek fans all over the world, wherever they are. You know, they're very similar.
Would there be one thing that you kind of, I mean, you would make more Star Trek fans than most people?
Yeah, probably.
Is there something that you kind of pick up? You think there is this thread that runs through that's, I didn't think I would imagine, but now this is true.
Well, there's a lot of threads, really. But there is certainly, the predominant one, I think, is that they're intelligent. I mean, obviously, they're technical people. They're interested in, you know, technical bling and what the future, and in many cases, they are people who are outsiders in a way. You know, that the philosophy of Star Trek embraced them as it embraces all people without judgment. And that's the attraction of it, is people who feel society has kind of put them at arm's length are attracted to Star Trek because it doesn't do that at all. It opens their arms to them. And, but in general, really, they're very bright people. I mean, for the most part, you know, all of NASA are Star Trek fans. Anytime I meet somebody who's a computer geek, they're a Star Trek fan. And there are other things. You know, there is an illusion, by the way, about Star Trek, and so many of the fans, I mean the hardcore fans, because there are millions of Star Trek fans. I'm talking about a small group of really hardcore fans who kind of have embraced it as almost a religion, which is ironic since, you know, Gene Roddenberry knew L. Ron Hubbard very well. They kind of came up together as writers, and when Hubbard invented Scientology, he told Gene about it, and Gene said, I can actually make a religion out of this. And Gene was like, well, why would you want to do that? Because Gene wanted nothing to do with religion. Well, little did he know, he did the same thing. Inadvertently, he created a religion. And but the religion really has a lot of holes in it, like all religions do. Sorry, everybody. It really does. It's as empty as most religions because it's false. I mean, you know what Star Trek is? Entertainment. When Gene created it, his idea was Wagon Train to the Stars. There was a Western series, Wagon Train. Each week they meet somebody else and they have an interesting adventure. That was what he created. And that is Star Trek at its best. I mean, remember Patrick used to say, there's one word that describes us at our very best and our very worst. And I said, what's that? He goes, worthy. Truly. But really, my feeling is, at our very best, we're entertaining. because that's what we are. We are entertainment. We're not trying to change the world or create, you know, a religion for people to follow. You know, there's this illusion that in Star Trek and in the 24th century of Star Trek, everything's taken care of. I mean, there are some really wonderful things, like we fail to recognize, you know, Gene always said, in the 24th century, we will celebrate the differences rather than be separated by them. We will celebrate everyone's differences, and that's a beautiful idea. But the illusion is that it's some kind of peaceful environment. I mean, we're blowing people out of the sky constantly, you know, blowing entire ships of people with thousands of people on them. We all carry guns, you know. In the 24th century, we're carrying guns. Yeah, you can set them on stun, but we have rifles, we have guns, we have phasers. Everybody's blasting everybody in, you know, half the episodes. It's a Western. It's the Wild West as much as it is now. And this sort of illusion that it's this peaceful place where the future is beautiful. It's not a beautiful future. It's a semi-beautiful future. But we still have these same problems of solving our issues with violence. It's absurd. They're called standards. And there's a reason they're called standards. It's because they're always going to be beautiful. Those were the greatest writers of all time. I mean, of pop music. Berlin and Gershwin and there's so many, Cole Porter, and there are lots of them who wrote great songs that everybody still knows. And it's there. You know, then there's classical music. It's the reason it's called classical music is because we still listen to it, and it's still gorgeous. It's still art. But there are guys who are going to be standard writers. You know, the Beatles are going to be standards, and they already are. And Elton John's going to be standards. Who else will be? That will we remember their songs forever? ABBA, definitely. But it's true, you know. There are guys who are the Gershwins and Berlins and Porters of their time who are writing songs that will span the history of the world.
Yeah.
And then there's junk that is fun, but it's only for our time. It's only for the kids to rebel to, you know, which all kids have to do. So each generation of kids have their music that says to their parents, "You're screwing up the world, and this is the way things really should be." Well, I can't really tell you a day in life. I sleep a lot, but then I have to because I'm much older. But you know, I different things. I mean, you have the most important ingredient, I think, in show business is luck. Seriously, and I know you've heard this before, but it's really true. Talent is somewhere way down the list. Obviously, you watch television, and so luck is primary. It's the big one. Being in the right place at the right time, meeting the right people, being prepared, all of that kind of stuff. But you know, sometimes your luck, it comes and goes, and sometimes it runs out completely. I mean, you know, you look at, there are people who were huge 10 years ago. We don't know where they are, and we may never know where they are again. Hopefully, they made enough money that it doesn't matter. But so I feel like I've gone through a lot of ups and downs.